Welcome to the Shifter, everybody. I'm Will.
I'm Matt, and that's Corey LaJoy, who everyone loves.
Yep, and this is our first time recording this. So
No,
there's that too. We're actually going to be trying out a different format and by the way, this is the Shifter. We're going to be trying out a little bit of a different format so that the shows don't take 40 minutes.
dang
Because quite
it.
frankly, I'm just going to cut it straight with you guys. I don't think anybody wants to watch a 40-minute Zoom call.
Hey, it won't be a Zoom call for much longer, but we'll.
Oh, well, don't see that yet. Don't. Anyway, point is, we are going to try and blaze through this episode. So first off, let me just express my congratulations to Corey LaJoy, Cole Custer, and Ryan Blaney for winning this weekend at
Corey
Pocono. And
Heim, not Corey LaJoy. Corey LaJoy did
did I
not
say
win this
Corey
one.
LaJoy? No, 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 William.
Yeah, I'm
Corey
gonna tell
LaJoy
you,
certainly didn't win anything this weekend.
he's never won a top three NASCAR series race. Now think about what you did. Why I say the top 10. Ryan Blaney first, Denny Hamlin second. Will calm down. Third place, Alex Bowman. Fourth place, William Byron. Fifth place, Joey Logano. Sixth place, Tyler Reddick. Again, Will calm down. Seventh place, Brad Gitzelowski. Eighth place, Martin Truex. Matt, calm down. Ninth place, Chase Elliott. And 10th place, Will, please calm down. Bubba Wallace makes his return to the top 10.
Ooh. First off, a very timely return to the top 10, as we will get into later. But let's be real, the biggest story coming out of this weekend is regarding the man that apparently won the truck race,
No.
Corey LaJoy. No, yeah, Corey LaJoy did some interesting things at Pocono this past weekend, mainly, and I'll just uh, I'll just put it this way. This is how I'll kind of run it. Matt, gun to your head. Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, maybe that's not the proper. Anyway, point is, did Corey LaJoy dump Kyle Busch?
I think he meant to hit him. I don't think he meant to turn him into turn one at Pocono, but that is what happened.
I sure hope he didn't mean to turn him into turn one at Pocono, but my God, I don't really know how he thought his actions would result in anything different.
It's Corey LaJoy, man. We've seen some actions this year. I know you remember Coda Buddy.
Yeah, I do. Because I feel like the whole like, oh, insert person is a terrorist meme, that's kind of gone from person to person, and I think we're almost used to that being Ricky Stenhouse, but no, that's Corey LaJoy. Like this, okay. Um, First off, addressing Kyle Busch, Matt, do you want to just name some drivers that were outrunning Kyle Busch on speed in stage one
I
at
think I
Pocono?
only have to name one. Cody Ware. Kyle Busch did reference this in his interview with not the one that was aired on television, but with Fox reporter Bob Pockerswill's favorite reporter in all of the land. Um, he said, "Did you see how we were running today?" When asked if he had previous contact with Corey LaJoy, meaning he was not around anyone because he was that slow.
Yeah. Again, just wildly concerning. We don't have anything new to say on that because we felt the same way for the past couple months. But yeah, that team simply has no speed. However, they found themselves a little bit farther up in the field uh, until God, I don't even about what lap would you say this restart was?
I
Like,
think it was that beginning portion of stage three where we got like
I
the
was
three
gonna say,
cautions in a
was it?
row
It wasn't
because
the
this was
start of
set up the
stage
fuel
two, was
mileage
it?
stuff. It was either the start or the second restart. I think it was the
Yeah,
second restart.
because then the one after that was um the John Hunter, right?
Yeah, I think so. John Hunter doesn't wreck though, guys.
John Hunter. Oh, see, I thought you were about to say that I had made a mistake and named the wrong driver. I don't do that stuff.
Corey LaJoy winning a top three NASCAR series
It
race is
was a
just
slip
blasphemy.
of the tongue. It was a slip of the tongue. Anyway, point is, uh, relatively late race-ish restart. You know how it goes at Pocono, they fan out. I think Corey LaJoy probably took exception to what he probably felt like was a late block from Kyle Busch. Corey LaJoy is forced low, and he, according to Jeff Burton, who immediately jumped to his defense, he had to get back above that yellow line to enter turn one, which is true. Um,
Except he
but
wasn't below it.
yeah, first off, he wasn't below it. Well, I mean, well, actually, if he would have been. But it wasn't even just that. It's also the fact that you could just like let out of the throttle.
But then poor Corey LaJoy would have gotten hit from the car that was not behind him.
Anyway, so yeah, Corey LaJoy then just hooks Kyle Busch and he spins up in front of the field into turn one. Luckily, nothing too vicious from this wreck. Like this could have been terrible. Like we know how infamous turn one at Pocono can be. So, like
We
yeah,
still had a lot of cars in it though.
I was going to say who all got caught up in this thing. I feel like there was at least probably 3 to 5
Ryan
other cars involved.
Ryan Priest, AJ Allmendinger was in it. Harrison Burton because he saw the wreck. Carson Hocevar, I think, took a slide, and that's about it.
Yeah, so obviously, honestly, a lot of the talk this week, I kind of expected it to be like, oh, did he, didn't he? It's actually not that. I feel like the talk this week is kind of just what does Corey LaJoy do? And to that I will say Corey LaJoy has stuck around in the Cup Series for a reason. He has produced results that team owners, I guess, see as valuable. He gets sponsorship every now and then from like Fox News.
Hey,
Not
Chili's.
anymore.
He had sponsors from
Yeah,
Chili's.
Chili's, which is a lot
Can't
cooler
forget
than
about
Fox
Raise
News.
Energy. Raise Energy. Everyone drinks Raise Energy.
Raise. Why do I not remember the
It
Raise
was the
Energy?
car that oh guys, Chase Elliott's a national hero. If it wasn't for Chase Elliott, Corey LaJoy would be a NASCAR winner, and y'all would have to deal with that. I don't need an
Yeah.
apology. But
Uh,
how about your situation improving this week?
well, what I'll just say to kind of put the finishing touches on the Corey LaJoy thing. In my opinion, he probably is. I can't say he's the weakest driver that his team fields. I can say pretty confidently that he is the lowest ceiling.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, so that's just
he gets
unfortunate.
Rodney Childers. He gets Rodney Childers next year.
Maybe Rodney Childers can milk something out of him. I don't know. Like it's people pretending Corey LaJoy is untalented is wild, but he's no. It's not like he's any more talented than like the other lower tier drivers in this series at the moment.
He's no Carson Hocevar.
No, he very much is not Carson Hocevar. Carson Hocevar didn't do that stuff to Kyle Busch.
Except he did murder Corey Heim last year in the truck championship race and took them both out of it. But let's get to Ross Chastain.
That is different. That doesn't count. It was in a lower series, doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Anyway, we'll get to what you were finally hinting at. Let's talk about the cut line because now I'll just be real as the Bubba fan and also the Bubba pessimist saying there's no chance we make the playoffs. I don't think I feel that way anymore after the way that this race went. First off, uh, Ross Chastain. Actually, by the way, I was not tuned into the race yet. Yet
He saw the Corey LaJoy wreck, guys. He saw
at the
that.
time that Ross Chastain had his issues. So Matt, if you want to quickly describe what exactly happened to Ross Chastain.
Well, see, um, it was kind of something that I was following because I was kind of following the guys at the cut line. Chris Buescher was having a great day. Bubba Wallace was probably having his worst race of the season at this point, running 30th on speed. But you'll get to that in a second. And Ross Chastain was running around 25th on speed, not much better. Just Ross said in his interview, tried to get a little too much out of the car, lost it coming off the corner, slammed the wall. The car was done because we talked about again what can the next gen handle, and it can't handle the Pocono wall.
No.
And he would only beat one car on the day because there was only one car out of the race. And it was
Right.
nerve-wracking.
So, boom, there goes Ross Chastain. So, like, as me and Matt are talking about this thing, and as I'm finally getting to tune into the race, it's kind of like how much ground can Bubba make up on Ross Chastain? And also, at about this time, I feel this, and maybe it even was the same time, Chris Buescher finds his way to the lead of this race, I want to say.
Yeah, it wasn't far
Yeah.
after that.
So, and again, I can't remember which caution this was. I think it was a stage break, wasn't it? That Chris Buescher runs it.
Yeah, because the RFK
Point
cars
is,
ran a strategy.
yeah, basically Chris Buescher, bad pit stop. I believe he fell completely out of the top 10.
Yeah, he got back to 11th. He was right behind Bubba at the end of the race.
Yeah, he fell completely out of the top 10. Bubba Wallace, however, found something because it seemed that about the time I turned on the race that Bubba started moving forward. He found his way into the top 20. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, if we can steal a top 15 out of this with Ross Chastain being out of this thing, and I don't know, maybe Chris Buescher finds some more bad luck. Like this could be a pretty decent day. Um, well, Bubba Wallace eventually finds his way, as Matt said earlier, into the top 10. I think that the way the restarts played out were kind of perfect for him because he started going forward at the right time and he just needed cars to get bunched back up. And I think that allowed him to take a couple more spots to get up there into 10th. So not only does he finish in front of Chris Buescher, he also makes up that huge gap to Ross Chastain. So I think Bubba Wallace is what, 27 out?
Yeah, and we have a wild card in the Brickyard coming up, so there's an opportunity to gain some points here.
Yeah, so we have the wild card of the Brickyard, and then I would say that every race until the playoffs favors Bubba in some way, shape, or form. Not even talking about him winning this thing because we have totally ruled out the idea that Bubba Wallace can just jump up there and grab a win. He could, but and I think we thought that that was his only path into the playoff. Now being only 27 out with 5 races to go to the playoffs, five.
Yeah, 5 because there's 4 after the Olympics.
Yeah, so I actually feel pretty good about the prospect that Bubba Wallace can maybe even point his way in. It's not going to be easy, I will say. I feel like if there is one spot to be had, it's not Chris Buescher's, it's Ross Chastain's because this year has just been a major letdown for that one team. If you go back to our shows earlier in the year, I talked about how I felt like Ross Chastain was on the precipice of another breakout and how, with the big time sponsorship and his sort of mass blue collar underdog appeal, like that he could really capture the sport. He hasn't been close to doing that in.
It was, I think it was episode May. I said the one team was in danger, and you looked at me all crazy.
I don't know that I was crazy. I don't know that I did that.
Because Trackhouse has just had a lack of speed this year. The one
Yep.
team, it's not been as apparent, but the 99 team, I know they got that win at Atlanta, but if they didn't get that win, they would be nowhere near the playoffs. So we all know Daniel Suarez has talent, but they're running 25th to 30th every week.
Yeah, so I don't really. First off, like I don't even know what to think about Trackhouse as a whole because I mean I want to kind of first off they could bounce back in the playoffs. We've seen drivers and teams do that, but let's be real. Uh, if 2024 is just a miss, like they absolutely can just rebound in 25. I will say you're kind of in an interesting situation now with Daniel Suarez because as a team owner, do you look at the fact that he made the playoffs and won a race, or do you look at the fact of where he would be if we didn't have playoff format? Because it's two different stories. Daniel Suarez, objectively, and this sucks, but he has been bad this year. That team has been bad this year. I feel like that's a fair statement. Ross Chastain has drastically underperformed what we know he can do. So I feel like, again, you talked about it. Daniel Suarez is a talented driver. Ross Chastain just last year won the champion. How many races did he win last year? 3, 2?
2. It was
Yeah,
Nashville.
Nashville and Phoenix. Um, Ross Chastain is a driver with winning speed in the Cup Series, and I know that the margins right now are tighter than they've ever been. So just the slightest, like we talk about, the 23 team and how they struggled at times this year. I'd actually say most of the year. The margins right now in the sport are as tight as they've ever been. I remember it was Phoenix, which we saw as kind of a boring race. I actually thought it was a fine race, but wasn't it was the entire field was running lap times within a half a second of each other.
Yeah, and it was Pocono. I mean, we know like back in 2004, like the field was like a 4-second gap. I think JJ Ailey was only a second and a half off the pole this week, and he
Yeah.
qualified.
So and that obviously the tiniest little thing can absolutely be the difference from not just contending for the playoffs, but being a championship contender and being out of the playoffs entirely. And I kind of think that might be the story for Ross Chastain this year. I kind of think that what we are going to see is either him or that 23 team figured out. I don't see them both figuring it out again, just because of this whole margins thing. And honestly, yeah, the momentum is not in favor of the one team at all. Momentum is slightly in the favor of the 23. So gun to my head right now, I'd actually probably say that 23 makes it in over Chastain and that Chastain falls out entirely.
Just wait till Kyle Busch gets this win, man.
That's the other thing that we have not addressed is that we have multiple drivers outside of the playoff, not named Bubba Wallace, that probably could win a race. Kyle Busch is the biggest one, even though they haven't had speed, but you just don't count out Kyle Busch.
And
Uh,
especially if we have Daytona, which we know Kyle Busch in the July Daytona race can be deadly, not the February one. Tony Stewart might commit attacks upon him. It guys,
he
it was
won it
Kyle
the year
Busch's fault.
before.
It was Kyle Busch's fault too. Yeah,
Oh, no,
objectively.
it absolutely was Kyle Busch's fault. He was mirror driving. Tony literally just held his line. People were like, "Huh?" Watch the product, brother. I might watch this. Might watch that get done here. Um, but yeah, Kyle Busch absolutely could jump up and grab a win. I'm not saying that they are favored to, but any of the SHR cars, it could happen.
Michael
Uh,
McDowell, Todd Gilliland.
those are guys that don't have wins and are outside of the playoffs that
Oh,
could absolutely take up the spots.
I want to give somebody their
Corey
flowers this
LaJoy.
week. Shut up. I want to give somebody their flowers this week. Todd Gilliland, actually, after Chase Elliott's crash, had the longest active streak before this week when he crashed of the top 20s in the Cup Series. So then Todd Gilliland is 20th in points right now. Very good job from that 38
I did not realize that Todd Gilliland is 20th in points.
Yeah, he's outrunning Michael McDowell and nobody's talking about it. Great job.
Well, hey, we are somebody. We need to talk about it. So that's kind of on us. But yeah. So the cut line is wildly interesting. I will say, assuming that we don't get any surprise winners and the spots that we have left are because we have like what 13, 14 different winners at the moment.
12.
Is it 12?
Wait, hold up. Yeah, 13's Martin Truex, 14 Ty Gibbs, 15 Chris Buescher, 16.
Oh, yeah. My fault. My fault, OG.
Well,
I think Ty
anything else?
Gibbs and Martin Truex are locked in regardless of whether they win.
I'm not going to say that because I'll come back
That's
to
where,
that.
by the way, that's where I drew my number from. I have 14 people that I think are locked in. I think the last two spots are the ones up for grabs.
Ty Gibbs's gap is only like down in the 60s now because he did blow up in this race. So his isn't as safe as it was. Martin Truex should be fine. But if we remember the 22 season where we thought Martin Truex was fine.
That is true. Fell out entirely. Then again, never mind. I don't even want to talk about 2022 Daytona or anything like that. That just make me upset.
Yeah. But do you have anything else you'd like to cover in this great episode before I get to the sponsors?
Uh, well, I'll quickly say that one of the biggest rumors in the racing industry right now is Hailie Deegan moving potentially to IndyCar. Oh no.
Please let her go to the next series for 2 years before you even think about it. But no, I said this in a text. I think this could be a way of her getting the Monster primary sponsorship back because surprisingly, they don't sponsor anybody in IndyCar, at least primarily. But I do think, especially with 5 Hour Energy getting into the sport with Pedro Fittipaldi, this could be a way of them trying to combat that. And because, Monster loves to have their face on everything, in motorsports related and even sports related, seemingly. But I just, it might be a good fit. Sometimes people go over there and they do better, but maybe with her dirt background, it could help. But I really think she needs the next series for at least 2 years, if that's even thought of.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see a path where Hailie Deegan's road to success in racing isn't in a stock car. And honestly, at this point, her road to success in a stock car seems kind of that path
Baja
is
Series,
money.
Robbie
Was that
Gordon. Baja Series, Robbie Gordon. She'd be great in a Baja car. She is great in a
actually?
Baja car.
Yeah, so maybe she just, is like the top name over there. You know what I mean?
Don't you ever disrespect
Car.
Robbie. I did not throw my door frame out of car, not door frame, door piecing out of car at Atlanta Motor Speedway and piss off Jeff Burton his name in the mud because Robbie Gordon will never be beaten.
Robbie Gordon was a terrorist long before Corey LaJoy.
But he was lovable, unlike Corey
Yeah, so
LaJoy.
it's totally different. That being said, thanks for watching this episode of the Shift.
Sponsors.
Fine. Fine. Fine.
Uh,
Fine.
Go watch Milan Show on YouTube. Go look at Trails Closed. They're beautiful by Grateful Studios. Ken Ants YouTube. I almost forgot Bree. I'm so sorry, Bree. Bree at Bree Casso on Instagram, and will try not to say how much he hates her hair this week because he says that every week. What a piece of work he is.
And the last thing I'll say is, wow, media literacy sure is low. Lots of people's criticisms of this album don't make sense. If you don't like the songs, just say you don't like the songs. If the story flew over your head, that's really sad because he pretty bluntly said what the album was. But people
We
just
can
want to
talk
be
about
like,
that
ah,
when I
Gen
get over
Z
there.
hate rap. Let's as a nation work on media literacy. I've been Will, that's been Matt. We're out
And
of here.
Coy LaJoy needs to work on his driving.